And here we are again talking about truckers and shortages. And I would like to address some of the criticisms that I got on my previous video. And if you haven't seen it, then I suggest you watch it because otherwise you wouldn't get what I'm talking about here. And the main criticisms are that some person lives in Britain and he hasn't experienced any shortages, and because he hasn't experienced any shortages, that there are no shortages. Look, it's like the great toilet paper shortage of 2020, just because there were a lot of people on the internet saying that they have a lot of toilet paper, that doesn't mean there was no shortage. So it really depends on the store. It really depends on the logistics and how much of the product the store still has in the warehouse. But when you see major retailers saying that there's a shortage, when you see the people in power talking about there is a shortage. Now, in the UK right now, there is a shortage of truckers, and there's also a shortage of gas. Now, right now, things may be fine, and your stores might be stocked up, but wait until Christmas. If the situation doesn't get fixed, then you are going to experience massive shortages on Christmas. You might not find turkey, you might not find pig meat, you might not find a lot of products that you are expecting to find. Now, some people say, well, I don't eat pig, so I happen to be a vegetarian, so I don't care. What do you think happens when the people who usually eat meat are not going to be able to find meat? Do you not think that the demand for vegetables is going to grow exponentially, it's going to explode overnight, and you might actually have problems finding vegetables, or if you find them, they're going to cost 10 times more? Then I have criticism saying, no, V, you're wrong, it's about Brexit. There is a shortage of truckers all around Europe. It's true that it's a little bit more difficult in the UK, but trust me, people from the European Union can still work in the UK. If the pay was good, people would go through the hassle and do the paperwork and work in the UK. So why don't people work as truckers in the UK? And just to take a step back here, I find it very difficult to believe that in a country with over 50 million people, you can't find truckers. Like, all those 50 million people in the United Kingdom are lawyers, doctors, engineers, and they look down upon the profession of trucking. Like, they're absolutely disgusted with the idea of driving a truck. They would rather starve. They would rather stay home and be poor than to drive a truck. Get the fuck out. You know, this idea that a country with so many people can't find enough jobs for truckers, can't find enough people to do the job of trucking is ludicrous. The reason you can't find it is, well, we're going to actually unpack right now from what I heard from subscribers that actually are truckers, and they told me why they don't want to work in the UK anymore. So the biggest reason is the legislation. As I understand, if, for example, the company you work for in the UK wants to fill your truck more than the law allows, well, in any other country, the company would be responsible. In Britain, it's the truck driver that's responsible. So put yourself into the shoes of a truck driver. You work for a company, and they fill your truck more than the law allows. Now, you will say, well, I don't want to drive it, and then, okay, you're fired. Someone else. So you have no choice. You have to drive it. But if the cops find you, you get a massive fine. Why would you want to work like that? Why would you want... So, is the legislation that's the main problem. Another problem is with the lockdowns. And I know, like, people go, it's like, oh, the lockdowns yet again. The truckers were essential workers. Yes, the truckers are essential workers, but if you're going to have to drive halfway across the country, you're going to want to take a shower and sleep somewhere. So you're going to wait for the place where you can have access to a motel, a restaurant, and a shower. Guess what? They're all locked down. Guess what? If they're not locked down, some of them went out of business. So working in France is a lot better because they didn't go to tier 27 lockdown. So in France, you still have the ability to stop to a restaurant or to stop to an amenity where you can take a shower. In the UK, you can't. You get to sleep in the cabin. And by the way, in France, things might also start to look bad in the future because right now with the protests and the COVID passes, again, you know, if you have a shortage of something and then 10%, let's say, of people don't want to get the vaccine and they decide that it's better to quit, now you have a 10% extra shortage. Rather than fixing the problem, you're making it worse. So these are some of the issues. Now, in the United States, the vaccine seems to have even more affected the truckers, because a lot of them, when I say a lot of them, don't think like 60%, no, but like even 20% of them, if they choose not to show up to work, you're going to cause, yet again, the same issue. So if you look at what's happening in California right now, you have 56 ships that are waiting off the coast of California. It's a line so big that it's going all the way from Oakland to Long Beach. And all of them are waiting for permission to unload. Why are they waiting for permission to unload? Because the dock is already at maximum capacity. Why is the dock at maximum capacity? Because there's not enough truckers. There's not enough people to pick up the cargo and deliver it whatever it needs to be. Now, I asked a couple of truckers from the US. I'm actually surprised, pleasantly surprised, I would like to say, to see that I have so many subscribers, which are doing this noble profession, without which we would starve to death. And they told me why their colleagues are experiencing shortages. So one of the reasons is that many of their colleagues, when they were told by the government that they have to get a vaccine or else they're going to be fired, their colleagues said, okay, I guess we're fired. And now they're doing jobs on the side. They're not paying taxes to the government, so they're doing the odd jobs. Who's going to stop them? And that's one of the reasons. Now, again, this isn't a big percentage. Like, don't expect that it's like 30%. But even if it's 10%, when you already have a shortage, like that 10% hurts more rather than fixing the problem. Another issue is with the fact that many truckers don't want to work in the cities anymore. They would rather work in rural areas or in red states. Why? Well, defund the police. They don't want to risk carrying precious cargo that they're responsible for in places with high criminal activity. Again, that's not a lot of truckers. It's not 20, it's not 30%, but it's a significant number in a time when you have a shortage. Now, on the bright side, if you happen to be a trucker in the US, if you have your own truck, so you're not working for a company, it blew my mind when I realized that if you're actually working in a place like California and you're putting in 11 hours a day carrying cargo, you might earn up to $8,000 a week after tax. I mean, this just blew my mind. Like, just so you can understand how bad the shortage is. So if you happen to be vaccinated, if you happen to own a truck, if you want to work in California now, you can make a lot of money right now. And I think that's some of the reasons why you have this problem. Now, is it going to affect people? Yeah. I mean, if you're in America and you're going around your house looking to see what you have that's made in China, you're going to notice that most of the electronics are probably made in China. So your TV is made in China, your computer is made in China, like everything. And if it's not China, it's probably Taiwan. So all of the things that require electronics from China or Taiwan, they're waiting right now. They're on the shores of Oakland all the way to Long Beach. And they're not being unloaded. Now, this disruption of the supply chain is probably going to last for years, because most companies, they usually make to order. So this is going to completely screw up all of the timetables, like everything. It's going to take a huge while for things to go back to normal. So yes, expect shortages. And because of shortages, everything is going to get more expensive. So graphics card, consoles, computers, cars, like you name it, it's just going to get more expensive. And in the UK, food is going to get more expensive. I don't know if food is going to get more expensive in the US because they don't have the same problem in the UK, different system, but still. Not to mention the gas price is also going to explode. Especially in the UK, gas is also being carried by trucks, and now there's gas stations that are empty. So price is going to go boom. Yeah, the UK is telling people not to panic buy. Usually, when they tell you not to panic buy, is when you have to panic buy. I'm just saying because when there's no problem, they don't talk about it. Like that is the number one thing that I learned in my life, in my 35 years of experience. When they tell you not to do something, you should do it, and when they tell you to do something, you shouldn't. It's just it's not a perfect system. Don't get me wrong. Like sometimes you can have egg on face, but usually you're not going to hear people like you didn't hear people 5 years ago saying that there's no inflation. Because there wasn't, so they don't have to go and talk about it. You wouldn't hear people 5 years ago say there's no gas shortage because there wasn't, so they're not talking about it. The moment they start talking about it is the moment you should realize that it's a problem. Now, how you deal with the problem is up to you. All I'm telling you, it's like, that is a problem. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.